I'm RT and welcome back to RTsWorld. So today I present you the latest, most sophisticated and best functioning version of horse race gambling in Minecraft. So as you can see here behind me, I built the latest version of horse race gambling and I'm really proud of it. It is nice. It turned out great. There are a lot of features. You can expand it like in length. You can make it like a circular shape. You can add more tracks so you don't have like 4 horses, as you can see here in the background. You could have like 10 whatsoever horses. This machine is completely and 100% customizable. It should work across all versions of Minecraft. And we have here a version where you can bet at multiple horses at the same time. So that's great, I think. And I will show you how it works. So in the first part of this video, I will show you how to build this huge machine, but don't be scared away by all the redstone going on. Most of it is completely modular, as you can see here. It's just copy pasting stuff around. And this here, this is our brain. That's the most important part. So yeah, that's like, I would say quote unquote, normal machine sized. So this is, yeah, this is my normal casino machines are usually that big. So it's not that much more to build except this copy paste part in red down there. But don't be scared away, as I said. I will explain to you everything, how it works and how this modular system is built from the ground up and is a brand new system. And I will also show you how it compares to my older builds, like this one here, the circular one, which is a very popular video. And if you didn't see this one here, that's my last gen version of the horse race gambling. I will link it in the right corner in the info card section, so you can watch the video first. So, but now let's return. Ooh, and I completely forgot. I'm just looking at the date and I'm completely like confused now. Merry Christmas. If you watch this on release, like on YouTube release, not on Patreon release will be the 23rd, but YouTube release will be the 24th. So Christmas, Merry Christmas everyone. This machine is my Christmas gift to you and you better enjoy it. No, just kidding. Yeah, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope you also had a very nice 2022. Also, all the best for 2023, since my next video will be scheduled to the 1 week after New Year's Eve. So be prepared. And yeah, with that, let's continue on with the video. Yeah, first of all, before we start explaining or building this stuff, thanks a lot to the suggester of this video. And his name is Tim Schubert. And yeah, Tim, thanks again. You suggested that much videos already to me. And yeah, he wrote a German comment where he basically said he wanted to have a machine where you can bet on multiple horses in like, they go in a certain sequence across the finish line. So you say, for example, hey, horse blue is first, horse orange second, green horse third, and last one is the magenta horse. And if it turns out that this exact sequence is what the horses actually would like cross the finish line, you will win big. And in this case, it is 2 netherite ingots. Netherite blocks, sorry, for the maximum win. And of course, you can customize the prices as well. So how does this machine work and how do the modules work? So that's why I want to have here this demonstration module where we have only 1 track and only 1 module. For my machine, we have 4 tracks and 1, 2, 3, 4 modules. So that's basically the main difference. We have here a lot more modules, but everything works like this one here. So first of all, we have here a minecart that goes over this pressure plate here, and it will just send a signal all the way down. And the reason why it's that deep is because I managed to decrease the size for a module from 14 blocks to 6 blocks. As you can see here, the old one, we'll just visit it very shortly. This is the module size. So we start here, we go all the way across and we end right here, and we need also 1 block space since the redstone is messing with each other if we don't have 1 space. So the old basically module has 14 blocks in length. It is much thinner in height, but yeah, usually height is not that a constraint. If you have a track, it's much more sleek to have it like deeper into like the underground section, but you have a very tight modular space here with 6 blocks width only, which is very nice for this machine. So then we have here a T flip-flop, so we just move the wooden X down 1 dropper, we activate the comparator, we activate this clock here, which runs on, I guess, 6 ticks, and so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, no, it should be 8 ticks. So every 8 ticks, we are powering this dropper here, and this dropper, as you can see here, is configured in a 25% chance mode. So we have 25% of the time we get the wooden X, since it's 1 in 4, and we get a signal strength of 3. With signal strength of 1 we get nothing, but as the clock continues, we power at some point this note block, and the note block then just resets the T flip-flop, and it also powers our 2 rails here. And I will show you that in action since it's much more easy to explain it. So we travel down, we have here this clock, we move the items around, and yeah, it already worked out, so let's do it once more. So as we can see here, we just pop the items, and at some point the wooden X will be selected. Let's see when this point is there. So it runs as long as eventually the wooden X will be picked. So there's no time limit, so now the wooden X was picked, and we just activate this blue pulse extender circuit, and we just send the minecart off. Of course, if you want, for example, the machine to be like only 50% of the time, so much more frequent to send the minecart off, you can also do that. So it should now go way faster compared to the 25%. As we can see, we already sent it off. And if you want to decrease the odds, just make sure to get in as much random items as you can, except for the wooden X. So it's super unlikely. Now it's 11% chance to get the wooden X, but yeah, it would take now forever. So I will just remove some items again and just keep those original 4 in, like so. So nice stack of minecarts, by the way. So that's how the magic is working with the modules. So that's what we can see here in red all the way. That's just copy pasting some stuff. So let's get started. But before we can understand the brain, we really need to cut a few hopper lines to really make sure you get the idea what's going on here. So we just cut here this hopper line. This is just our selection, what we do in the beginning. So as we can see here, I just select blue, green, orange, and magenta. You can do it way faster, but I just did it like that so I can say it every time I put it there in a diamond. So we need 4 diamonds to start this machine. Then the horses just go. And as you already know, we have a 25% chance of proceeding one of those sequence of this modules. So let's see which one wins. Blue, green, orange, magenta is our selection. Okay, green, magenta, blue, orange. So basically we don't win anything. But as we can see here, here is our sequence. As you can saw very briefly, here is our sequence stored in this barrel here. And the way it works is, I will just get rid of this note block so we don't have this annoying sound all the time. And we basically just, as the horses finish, they run over a pressure plate, we detect it with an observer, we just engage a T flip-flop, and then we just put the corresponding concrete color of the horse into this barrel here. And we have exact same amount of hoppers on each side, so the barrel just takes up the exact sequence when the horses go there. If they just happen to go the exact same time on the same pressure plate, it's a little bit random, but usually that does not work. And if you increase the track length, you won't run into those issues anyway. So we have here the 4 corresponding colors, and they are then stored here in those droppers. And we have here the first horse that finished, which is lime, the second horse, which is magenta, the third one blue, and the last one orange. So that's the exact sequence we saw the horses finish. And you now may wonder why there are some secretly named items in there, and that's because we compare them now to our sequence we bet. And here we have some simple item filters. So here are the diamonds, we just put them in, then we transfer one of the corresponding colors, and of course you have to refill those droppers from time to time since there are only 9 stacks available, but should work out for most people. Otherwise you can just add more chests or hoppers, and we just represent with the diamonds we put in just the same colors here in a hopper row. So we just had blue, green, orange, magenta, and that's exactly what is in here. Blue, green, orange, magenta. That's our selection. And I will now just take them out since they would usually or defaultly go there. So I will just put in now blue, a little bit of time, lime, a little bit of time, orange, and we just wait for magenta. So I want to explain something first. So now we have here on the left, of course, the actual sequence our horse finished. And here on the right, we have our sequence that we bet or that we selected. And the last one, the magenta one, would be in here. But I just, have it here in my inventory, since if I put it in there, we just keep on going with the sequence, since this comparator would detect it and therefore launch some stuff that is happening really fast. But basically, what's happening is here, this dropper on the right tries to like fire this item into this dropper. But as you can see here, there is no space for an orange concrete, and only if there is another orange concrete, this one can fire. So that's how the machine knows if we selected the correct sequence of horses finishing. And as we can see here, of course, nothing matches up, since we have here magenta and green and blue and so on. So I will now add in the last one into this line. So it should now finish then. And here we just add up all the signals with some cauldrons. The signal strength with 1 to 4, and that's how we determine the price. So yeah, unfortunately, this time we get no price. As we just lost. We didn't pick a single horse correctly. And yeah, there's also a machine. There's also a timer here that is just resetting the whole contraption after some time. And yeah, as I told you, we won nothing. So we will do it one more time. Again, blue, green, orange, magenta. And let's watch the horses once more. Come on, little horses, you can do it. And as I said, you can completely customize it. You can make it as long as you want. There's nothing basically new or different if you add more modules. We have just the starting sequence, the finishing sequence, and so on. So we have now orange, blue, green, and magenta. Okay, at least we have one horse picked correctly. So we at least have the magenta horse, which should come any second and finish up the sequence here in the barrel. And then they will just be sent off. So as soon as this, all of those horses finished, we just power this line here, and it sends exactly 8 pulses through. I know we only need 4, since we only have 4 concrete there, but I just add a little bit of buffer if some people like add more lines. So you could have up to 8 lines of horses, 8 tracks with the setup here. But yeah, for 4 it's a little bit overkill, since we have 3 extra pulses there. But yeah, doesn't really matter. There are no more items in there. And as we can see here, we have 1 signal strength, therefore we just win the emerald. And we win always 2 at a time, so that's a little bit different from the preview. There's a second one. Since the preview I just cut away, it takes a little bit of time for the observer row to update, but you get 2 items if you win each time. And the way I set it up is, if you guess 1 horse correctly, if you have 1 match basically, you get 2 prizes, which is the 2 emeralds. If you have 2 matches, so you have basically 2 horses that you guessed correctly, you have 2 plus 2, so 2 emerald and 2 emerald blocks. And if you have 4 matches, so you cannot have 3 of course in a 4 horse match, you have 2 plus 2 plus 2 prizes, so you get 2 of each of those items if you guess all 4 correctly. And now I want to make this case where we guess all of them correctly. So let's again just mess it up. It doesn't matter. I will now cheat basically my way to victory. It doesn't matter which order they finish. I will just arrange the items in that order afterwards, so we can simulate a win. So let's see. And of course it makes it much more interesting if we have more lanes than 4. If we have like 6 lanes and we can only bet the first 4 horses, it's a little bit harder for the players. So we have orange. Let's try the next one, or let's see what the next horses is. Green, yeah, one match. Magenta and blue, so we have only 1 match again. But doesn't matter, since we will now cheat a little bit. So that's the pulses that get sent through. And here's our order, and I just get them now. And we know from this sequence here that the first horse was the orange one, then the green one, then the magenta one, and then the blue one. That's the order the horses won. So we just put in orange, green, magenta into our line. Yeah, basically there are some buffer chests. You don't need them. I just had them there during building that to handle the overflow a little bit better. And now we have the circumstance that we have here orange and here orange. There green and there green. Here magenta and here magenta. So that's great. That's basically a 100% match. So if I insert the last one, the last concrete into this hopper row, the machine basically will tell us that we won all prices, and I will show you how it works. So this comparator just measures the output of this dropper here. So if the dropper is able to put the item from left to right, this comparator will be off, and therefore powering this piston with the cauldron, which you can see here has 1 level of water in there. That's exactly 1 signal strength. So we have maximum 4 possible signal strength. Ignore this one here since there is not yet an item in there. It's precisely timed, so it doesn't matter to just ignore the third one for now. But as soon as we hit this subtracting comparator, we just get the corresponding amount of signal strength right here. So let's put in the last one, and then some things happen rather fast. So the last one will now depower there. Yeah, and now we have all 4 powered. That piston engages, and we have signal strength 4. That's why we get the netherite, the emerald block, and the emerald. And as soon as the piston depowers, the observers update once more, and we get the second item. As we can see here, the signal just travels. Yeah, here we have also the horse returning tracks, and here are just the observer lines. And we get 2 emeralds, 2 emerald blocks, and 2 netherite blocks as main price. Now, of course, you can configure those prices, and you can also mess around with those tracks on top. If you're really sophisticated and want to build a nice circular track as I did here, just feel free to do that. Put it in circles so you don't have to put those return tracks on top. But for now, I just want to make it a little bit more compact compared to this one here, since this one takes a lot of space. So if you want to compare now this version, the latest one, with the older one, here we are able to double the amount of modules. You don't have to increase the size of this track. Or you can make it just half the size with the same amount of randomness involved, since you get more random, like if you have more modules, of course. So, yeah, I think now I explained like 20 minutes or so. At least it felt like so. With that said, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. It was fun to build, but you know, sometimes you run into issues. And yeah, of course, one thing I missed is where do all the items go that are in those droppers? And that's, for example, one of those things where I just completely messed up in the first place. I had an item return system where you just had all the items from here, just put it into a dropper, elevator, and recycle them into our original droppers. So you have an infinite loop and you never have to restock anything. But turns out it is way harder. And in this version here, I don't want to admit it, but I just took the more lazy route and just you have to restock it as a casino owner. But of course you can put there a comparator, like so, for example, measure the output, and if it's empty on any of those, just like, yeah, light a lamp where it says don't play anymore or something like this. And one thing you have to also empty from time to time is those hoppers here on the bottom. So all the items that get in here are basically getting transferred into those hoppers after some time. So if, for example, we have here 2 concrete items or whatsoever inside, the torches will get depowered if the machine resets, and they will just be transferred into this item hopper down there. And only concrete colors will be down there, not the secretly named items. So that's also very important. And of course, with this kind of setup, you're now limited to 5 tracks. That's also a limitation. This machine can only handle 5 tracks. The last one here is a buffer item. Doesn't matter what it is, just not the secretly named item in there. So that's also like a workaround I did so far. I want to build a machine, but I have to rebuild everything, basically, if I want to configure it that it's smart enough to know which item to take out. The basic problem was, if there's only 1 item in each hopper and you don't guess any horse right, it doesn't matter. You can just pulse those redstone torches for 2 ticks. They will just transfer 1 item down into the hoppers and like somewhere else. But as soon as you put like from the right dropper to the left one that we have 2 items in here, how can you tell this torch here that it has to fire 2 times and this one 0 times? So that made it a little bit harder, and I didn't want to increase the size even more than it's already been. And I just went with the route where you have to like hook up some comparators if you want to run this on a server. Have to comparators here. If it has like signal strength 8 or so from 15 or 9, you just have to empty those droppers here. Those hoppers. I'm really sorry for that, but yeah, that's just a current workaround. But I will try to design a machine that will fix all those problems. And I will do a block-by-block tutorial of this machine the next time I will launch a video, since it also will take, yeah, like 30 to 40 minutes to build this machine in a block-by-block tutorial, and I don't want to make an hour-long video. So I hope you understand that. And this will also be the Christmas version, of course. So yeah. Stay tuned for the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and yeah, keep suggesting, keep liking, keep subscribing. I really, really appreciate your support. And if you like my builds, yeah, make sure to get a Patreon membership as well. The link is in the video description. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.